Hey guys, Bingocat here, and welcome to my official late 2017 room tour video. Now this video is also the camera test video for my brand new smartphone. So I recently got a Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Fantastic phone. I was very skeptical getting this phone because I've had bad experiences with Samsung phones in the past, but so far the Note 8 is pretty much one of the best smartphones I've ever owned. Now I'm recording this video at 1080p 60 FPS because I did not have a 60 FPS video recording option on my old phone, so I wanted to see how this video recording option looked. Looks fantastic. Now 4K 30 FPS on the other hand looks kind of disappointing. The video quality looks about the same as it did on my Nexus. If anything, it looks a little bit worse in my opinion, but 1080p 60 FPS on the other hand looks fantastic on this phone. So another little short story, I bought this phone to replace my Nexus because my Nexus recently had battery issues, so I had to send the phone back to Huawei to get the battery serviced, and I got it back. And then the phone started having camera issues. There was random black dots on the back camera when I was taking pictures or videos, and I decided I was fed up with it, so I got this phone to permanently replace it. So yeah, there's that. Let's start off the room tour. So just for a little change, let's start off with the back of the room. So this bookshelf is unchanged from my early 2017 room tour. I still have a smiley face emoji pillow. Those fuzzy dice aren't mine. Now there actually are some Wii U games down here, which is actually kind of pointless because we don't own a Wii U anymore, so they're just sitting there. And same thing with the Wii, we don't own a Wii anymore, so once again those games are just sitting there. If anything, this collection of DVDs that we have is actually kind of pointless now because, I mean, we still own DVD players, but we only actually have a DVD player, which is actually technically a Blu-ray player in one room of the house. And I don't have any set up like in my office here, so basically no one ever watches these DVDs. We just stream everything online somehow. So that collection's kind of pointless. It's just sitting here collecting dust, but whatever, I don't mind having this bookshelf in here. I think it's fine. So the top shelf here is a bunch of stuff that I either want to sell or put in a different room. So I have a new, actually, GT 1030 graphics card sitting right here. It's actually packaged right now, but here's the box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sell this because originally I bought this graphics card to put in that Optiplex computer I did a video of. And now, long story short, I don't have the Optiplex because I sold it, so I just need to sell this graphics card to get some money back on it. I have an old Wi-Fi adapter in here. It's not the oldest adapter in the world. It's TrendNet. It's a wireless 802.11.N, but I don't use it anymore either. I got it 3 years ago for my desktop over there, but you know, I've replaced it with a Wi-Fi card that can do 802.11 AC, so I don't really need this card anymore. So probably just going to sell off that card, either that or I might keep it in case I decide to buy any more old computers. Same thing with the SSD here. I bought this specifically to put in that Optiplex I did a video on, but you know, I don't have the Optiplex anymore, so I really have no reason to keep this SSD around anymore. I'm probably just going to sell that. Alright, and so I have a blue smartphone case here with a blue smartphone with a phone case on it right here. And I bought this when I sent in my Nexus for battery service. I bought this as a temporary smartphone. It's really fantastic, actually, for a budget phone. It only cost $89, and it did a good chunk of stuff that my Nexus already did. Sure, the screen wasn't as nice, and the cameras weren't as nice, but it ran smoothly. It runs Android 7.0 Nougat, and it was just overall a fairly solid phone, to be honest with you. In fact, it even had some features that my Nexus didn't have at all, like it does have front-facing flash, which I think is pretty neat. It has a headphone jack, unlike some newer phones, so that was pretty nice, but I have no use for this anymore. I think I'm just going to keep this around as a spare phone, so I don't think I'm going to get rid of it. I'm just going to keep that around, and then, you know, you got a SIM injection tool, power adapter, screwdriver. So yeah, moving on. So we got my closet in here. You know, it's just a closet, but inside I keep some stuff in here, like old boxes and stuff on the bottom. Over here is actually a portable AC unit that I used to have set up by my window, but you know, since it's winter now, I don't need it set up, so I unset it up. I just put it in here to save some space by the window, and so I won't exactly have freezing cold air leaking into the house. And then I have a bunch of boxes here, so I don't typically throw away the boxes for basically any tech item I get anymore, like this TP-Link smart plug or this Wacom tablet, because if I sell it, usually if you have the original box, it adds to the item's value. So yeah, that's why I keep the boxes for basically any tech item I buy now. Then of course I got a safe. I got a pair of old Logitech speakers that I got in like, I don't know, sometime around September 2014, but I don't use them anymore. But I do keep these as a spare. I do use them occasionally. Also have a Cisco switch that I bought to play around with, but it did not come with a power adapter, so now it's just sitting here. I could sell it, but I don't even know if it works, so I just keep it sitting here. Then I have a remote for a drone I also have in this closet. I'll show you guys in a minute. Then I do have a spare monitor stand, which is kind of pointless, that I keep actually. These are the batteries for the drone, but I really do not need a spare monitor stand, so I could sell that, but I doubt I get much money. And then, so moving on to the top of the closet here, compressed air cans, and then bags with spare PC and drone parts, like in this bag, for example, you can't really see, but yeah, you can't see it all, but I just have spare, like spare drone blades in there. Then I also have a mouse pad that I don't use anymore, but it does have my cat on it, so that's pretty cool. And then I also have a spare mic up here that I don't use at all. I actually used it for testing with my Optiplex for a little bit, but sounds alright, but it's nowhere near as good as the mic I have right now, so that's why I don't use it. Then these are just spare bags up here. I have an old CPU fan in there. It's the CPU fan I used before I got water cooling in my main rig. Then I also have a drone up here that I don't really use, but it's still pretty nice. It can do video recording in 720p as well. So here's a drone. It's a Holy Stone drone. It's pretty nice, but once again, I don't use it, but I bought it early last year, I think. Yeah, it was in 2016. And then I also don't use this either, but I still have it. I have a laptop cooling mat, which would actually probably, now that I think about it, be pretty useful for my XPS, because that thing gets hot, man. It gets hot sometimes. But I don't know how old this cooling mat is. I don't think it's that old. It's like maybe 3-4 years old, but nevertheless, I don't really use it. So there's that. And then here's a pretty old mouse cover, which looks like an actual mouse. And then I got a bunch of spare keyboards and mice up here. Like, let's see, 1, 2, I have 3. This thing is actually on. I have 3 spare mice up here. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spare keyboards up here. This one is actually a Logitech one. It's wireless. Then I have a spare Apple keyboard up here. And then I have a spare gaming keyboard that you can't really see, but it's there. And then I have another spare gaming keyboard. And then I have another wireless Logitech keyboard. So that's pretty much it for the closet. So moving on from the closet, I don't know if I explained this before, but I do have a map hanging up on here that this was actually my mom's. We got it when we went to the Outer Banks, but it just basically shows lighthouses and information about lighthouses on here. And I've been to Cape Hatteras and I've been to Currituck Beach Lighthouse. And the Outer Banks is a nice place, but moving on from that, right here I have a little stand, which there actually used to be a different taller stand here with a drawer, but I have since then moved that stand over there so I could put a third monitor in my desk area, and I would just have more room over there. So I just put this little, little folding stand over here, which actually works out pretty well. It kind of sucks not to have a drawer there anymore, but whatever. I have plenty of storage space for my items, so it's nice. And overall, it's just a little miscellaneous stand. I have a lamp on it right here. And then I have a decorative Minecraft torch, which actually does work. Yeah, it still does have power in it, so that's pretty neat. So this torch lights up, and I used to have it hanging on the wall, actually, but kept falling down, so I kind of gave up on hanging it on the wall. But it was my fault. I was hanging it with adhesive instead of using a nail or something, so that's why I kept falling down. Then, of course, I got my Panasonic camera right here, which I use for most of my videos nowadays. It's a fairly nice camera, actually. I wasn't expecting much, because for a 4K camera, it was actually kind of cheap. But yeah, it's actually a pretty nice camera. You can change your lenses if you want, even though I just stuck with the lens that came with the camera. But yeah, it's actually a pretty nice camera. I'm really satisfied with it. It can record 4K 30 FPS, 1080p 60 FPS. So for the most part, the camera takes care of all my video recording needs. So yeah, I just like the camera. The picture quality isn't the best on there, but it gets the job done, so I'm happy with it. So moving on over here, I actually got my old Roswell PC case sitting over here because I recently swapped out this case with a Corsair 460X RGB case. So I just took the all the parts that was in this Roswell case and put it in the new case because I didn't feel like spending like $1,000 on building myself a new computer with the parts I wanted. So I just switched cases, and now it looks like a modern computer, even though it has slightly older parts in there. So I'm happy with it. So no idea what I'm going to do with this case. I could sell it, but I don't know how much money I'd actually make selling this case. I mean, it was a cheap case to begin with, so I don't know if I would make that much money at all selling this case. And then the box the case came in is, of course, over here. And so then moving on from the box and the case, I got a printer that I think I've shown you guys before, but I'm showing you guys again. It's a Brother DCP 7065DN printer. It's a fairly nice printer. It's only black and white, but other than that, it's an all-in-one. It can do scanning, it can do copying, it can do printing. I don't use it that much, but when I do use it, it pretty much always works, no questions asked. It's not one of those printers where if you don't use it for a couple of months, it just won't work. It pretty much always works, so I'm happy with this printer. It's a good printer. And I got it from my neighbor. She actually gave it to me for free in like 2013, 2014 because the drum was near the end of its life, and a new printer wasn't that much more than what the drum cost for the amount that she printed. And so I took her old printer, and the drum actually lasted like 3 more years. I was impressed, but once again, I don't print that much. But long story short, this printer, brother just makes good printers. So if I move on to my light brown wooden desk over here, the light brown wooden desk really hasn't changed that much since the last room tour. I just have some different stuff on it. I actually did unfortunately damage this desk recently. I had a McDonald's cup that was leaking from the bottom, that I guess there was too much water for the coaster it was on, and unfortunately there's now swelling here, which I don't know if it's permanent or not. I think it's a little bit better than it was yesterday, which is when my cup actually spilled. You guys can't really see it at all, even if I focus on the desk, but it's there, and it's annoying that the desk isn't like perfectly flat. Now, this desk I actually bought at Target on my birthday in 2008. I forget how much money it was. I think it was under $100, but it's been a nice desk. It's served me well. I'd hate to have to replace this desk, so I really hope the swelling goes down. And then, so the stuff I have on the desk, I just have my TV remote for my TV over there. And then I have my iPad Mini 4, which I don't remember if I showed my iPad Mini in my last room tour video, but this is actually a different iPad Mini 4 than I had a year ago. This has 128 gigabytes of storage, unlike my previous iPad 4, which had just 16. Upgrading was definitely a great choice because I would always run out of storage on my old iPad Mini, so I'm satisfied with this iPad mini. I kind of wish Apple would introduce an updated iPad mini because they haven't updated the iPad mini in over 2 years. So I still own my 2012 MacBook Air, which I've had since June of 2013. It's still a good computer. The battery is starting to die. At least that's what my MacBook basically says. It's been saying I need to get my battery serviced for like 8 months, but the battery life is still actually pretty good on here. I've had this computer for over 4 years. It's not really a fast computer. It's actually on the slower side of things, but it still works for what I need it to do. All I do nowadays is pretty much web browsing, and I use Discord on there. And that's about it. So I really have no need to upgrade this computer, even though it's a 2012 MacBook Air. It's not the fastest computer in the world, but still fantastic computer that I originally bought for college. But since then, I have pretty much replaced my main laptop with this laptop over here. So this is the Dell XPS 159560. It's the newest model that they sell, even though I think Dell's probably in the near future going to come out with a new XPS 15 to replace this. But I've had this computer since May. Fantastic laptop. The best laptop I've ever owned. It's a powerhouse for a thinner laptop. It's, I think, just a little bit thicker than my MacBook Air, but this laptop is fantastic. I would definitely buy this laptop again in a heartbeat. All right, and then moving on to the other random crap that's on my desk. I have a USB Type-C to Type-C cable. The packaging for my Galaxy Note 8 that I'm going to keep. I actually have 2 pairs of headphones, wired headphones tangled here. These are AKG headphones that came with my Galaxy Note 8. These are Skull Candy headphones, or earbuds, I guess, that I bought off of Amazon. They're both really nice, but usually I prefer wearing wireless earbuds, to be honest. I have a pair of Bose wireless earbuds that are noise canceling, and they're fantastic. And that's what I usually use, but these wired headphones are useful for my devices like the Nintendo Switch, which don't have Bluetooth built in. So yeah, there's that. And then I have a little teeny tiny Christmas tree that actually has lights that light up. Moving on here. So this is my pop filter for my Blue Yeti microphone over there. There's not really a good way with the current way I have the desk and mic set up where I could just set up this pop filter permanently. So usually what I do is I just store this pop filter in storage space over here when I'm not using it. And when I want to record a video using my Blue Yeti mic, I just get out the pop filter, place it in front of the mic, and record the video. And once I'm done, I just put it back away. And so yeah, there's that. And so, moving on over here, I have a headphone stand for my Bose Quietcomfort 35 headphones, which, by the way, fantastic headphones. I highly recommend them. I don't think they sound as good as their straight-up wired headphones, but for wireless headphones, these things are fantastic. I'd recommend them any day. Then I have a wire for charging these wireless headphones. I have a Bluetooth mouse here for my Dell XPS and my MacBook. It works pretty fantastically, actually. I don't think I've ever felt like this mouse has ever, it's ever dropped out. It just works, so that's pretty nice. It's the M557 Logitech mouse. And so then I also have a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. And moving on from that, we have the main attraction in the room, my desktop PC setup. So I changed this actually from being a double monitor setup to being a triple monitor setup. I just had a spare monitor that was in my closet over there, and I decided, why the heck not use the monitor instead of having it collect dust? That's the spare monitor actually, so I got it out. Moved my stand, which is right here, that was over there, to over here. And now I have a nice triple monitor setup. So the left one, I forget the model names of the monitors to be honest, but the left one is 1080p. Monitor originally came out in like 2013, 2014. Middle one's 1440p and has a 144 hertz refresh rate. The right one is 1440p as well. Has a 60 hertz refresh rate. And then on the desk itself, I do have a Razer Black Widow Chroma Stealth keyboard that I love. It's a mechanical keyboard. Fantastic, best keyboard I've ever owned. It feels comfortable to type on, play on. It's also RGB backlit, so that's pretty fantastic. And then the mouse is Razer Death Adder, I think that's how you pronounce it. Death Adder Elite. Once again, fantastic mouse. Feels so comfortable. I just love it. I used to have this mouse in the cat mouse pad that was in my closet, but the cloth on it was starting to tear up. So moving on over here, I still have my blue Yeti Blackout Edition mic. Works fantastically. The sound quality is fantastic. I always get compliments. If, if I'm on Discord, if I'm like calling someone on Discord and I use my phone one day instead of using my mic, people are always like, Casey, you should really go and use your Blue Yeti mic for this call. It just sounds better. And I'm like, okay. I also have a Google Home back here, which I think these little smart speakers are kind of pointless, to be honest, but I got it as a gift. Christmas 2016, and I use it all the time. I use it for turning on and off the lights in my room because I have hue lights. I use it for that. I use it to play music if my computer is off. So yeah, I'm really satisfied with the Google Home. I also have RGB backlighting behind my desk. I have RGB backlighting back here, which I've shown you guys before, but I also have RGB backlighting behind my TV area. So that's pretty cool. I don't really use it that much, but it still looks cool, so I'm happy I got the RGB lighting. And so then the speakers, I forget what the heck these things are called, but it was basically the cheapest speakers with a subwoofer that you could find on Amazon in 2014. So that's what I have. Then I also have an Xbox One controller, but I don't have an Xbox One, so I just use it with my PC occasionally. And then I also have a lamp behind here with a Philips Hue light bulb in it. I got this lamp like maybe a year and a half ago. And then on top of my monitor here, I got the Logitech C920 webcam. And even though the webcam came out a few years ago at this point in time, to be honest, all I ever use a webcam for is like Discord calls and maybe streaming, and it works fine for that. I looked into getting the Logitech Brio, but I would have mainly got it for 4K 30 FPS recording, which, to be honest, looks kind of disappointing on the Brio. It's just the frame rate is choppy. And so then moving on to my PC over here, it's still pretty much the same PC that was in my early 2017 room tour. I just got a new case for it. Once again, this is a Corsair 460X RGB case. These lights in the front can change colors. Now the case looks gorgeous. I love the tampered glass. I'm thinking of maybe repositioning these monitors so I can actually see in the side here when I sit at my desk. Now the specs inside this computer are pretty much the exact same as they were in the early 2017 room tour. I have an Intel Core i7 4790K CPU with 32 gigs of DDR3 RAM running at 1600 megahertz. And then I also have two 1TB SSDs. One's an NVMe M2 SSD, one's a SATA SSD. I also have a Seagate 2TB 7200 RPM hard disk drive in there. Then my motherboard's an Asus Z97P motherboard. And then also have a Rosewell wireless AC card in there. And then I have a GeForce GTX 1080 Ti graphics card in there, the Founders Edition by NVIDIA. Now, if there's one thing I was disappointed with in this case was, even though this is a relatively newer case, I mean, it came out a year ago, which, it's not brand new, but it's definitely not an old case. There's no USB Type-C on the front panel, and that's honestly kind of disappointing. But most of the peripherals that I use are USB Type-A anyways, so it's not that big of a deal. And so then this desk I got in early 2016. It's a desk from IKEA. It's a fairly nice desk. And so if you move on to the TV area, and this actually does look different than the early 2017 room tour. The TV's the exact same as it was in the early 2017 room tour. It's a Samsung TV. I forget the exact model, but it's a 50-inch smart TV with HDR, with 4K from 2016. It's a fairly decent TV. The only complaint I have with it is that occasionally the user interface lags, which, is typical Samsung, but whatever. And then the stand is new, basically. I got it like 6 or 7 months ago, and I actually positioned the TV stand to be this way because with the TV stand positioned this way, I can actually easily see the TV from my desk and this chair. And then if you go down on the shelf, there's actually 2 doors that will close. The left door is actually slightly broken, but I just store some random stuff on the shelf, like items I think I'd use often, like this wireless keyboard and trackpad combo deal, but I actually don't use that often. And same thing with my Wacom tablet. I thought I'd use that pretty often. I was planning to at least use it for my YouTube thumbnails, but I actually haven't really been using it. Then I have a case here for my Bose Quietcomfort 35 headphones. And then this is actually pretty cool. So I actually have a little, I forget what exactly it's called, but basically I point it at a surface, it will tell me the temperature or something. So basically the temperature of my wall right now is 76 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I also have a wireless Bluetooth speaker here that I used to use in my bathroom. Also got a tablet stand for my iPad mini. I just saw this on Amazon and thought it was cool, so I decided to get it. But I don't really use it at all, and now it's just sitting here, to be honest with you. All right, and then I also have a Nintendo Switch over here. I got the one with the gray Joy-Cons, but I use my Nintendo Switch fairly often nowadays. I didn't really use it that much when it first came out due to a lack of games. And then I have a bunch of like old textbooks and stuff from college. And then down here, some miscellaneous storage, like I have spare PC parts down here. Like I have a hard drive that I tried to sell, but I couldn't sell, and now it's just sitting here. It's like a 40 gig Samsung hard drive from that 2005 computer that I did a video on earlier this year. So now it's just sitting there, and same thing with that computer's motherboard. And then I have like a nice little tripod case over here, and then I have a little spare small tripod over here. And then another tripod case is in the very back there. And then on the left here, I basically just have a bunch of product instruction manuals and some spare pieces for, devices. Then, some smaller boxes that I kept. I usually keep the big boxes in the closet over there, but the small boxes I keep in here. Then I also have that old cell phone that I did a video on that I'm just keeping around, I guess, for a nostalgic sake. So then if you look inside the desk drawer over here, I just keep a bunch of random crap inside, like toothpaste, more wireless earbuds, more wired earbuds, ear tips for my headphones. Now this little thing is cool. You just put it on your smartphone camera and it allows you to take super close-up pictures, but it's actually broken. It's held together with duct tape right now. And then I also have, like spare flash drives. Like this is a SanDisk flash drive. And then I also have a micro SD card reader. Then I also have spare micro SD cards. Like you can't really see this that well, but this is a Samsung micro SD card. I believe this one is 32 gigs. Yeah, it's 32 gigs. I also have micro SD card adapters. So then I got a backpack over here. Well, I mean, it's a Swiss gear backpack. I bought it like 2 years ago, and it's probably the best backpack I've ever owned. Then if we go inside the desk over here, basically just a bunch of spare adapter cables in here. Like I also have a smart outlet that I don't use at all. And then, like monitor cables like DVI, spare display port. Also have spare backup drives down here that I don't use at all, but I still have them from when I did use it. Like, I also do have an external DVD drive over here. Like, this is an LG one. Since I don't have a DVD drive in my computer. And so then over here inside this desk drawer, I also have a bunch of stuff. Like, I have a pocket calculator that I had to buy for literally one test at my college, because I sold off my graphing calculator, right? Because I thought I'd never need it again because I wasn't going to take any more math courses at my college. But lo and behold, some of the courses I took last semester had math in them. And for the final, you needed to bring a calculator with you. So I bought this at CVS. And now I have a spare calculator in here. Also, I have an iFixit toolkit, the original one I believe they sold, that I got 3 years ago as a gift, and I used it a ton. And here are some blue light filter glasses, spare Nexus 6P phone case that I won't need soon because I'm eventually going to sell off the Nexus, fidget spinner, a black one, laser pointer, and this is also a regular flashlight, but laser pointer, regular flashlight, cloth, stapler, 2 styluses in here, and then also have a bottle opener that I got for free somewhere. I don't even remember where. And so then moving on from the desk, I have this rocking chair here that I've had basically since I was a baby, which my dad and his parents owned this rocking chair before I did. And I think my dad's grandparents actually owned this rocking chair. So it's ancient. I think I don't even know how old it is. I would say maybe like 100 years old. It's seriously ancient. But we got the fabric replaced in like 2000 or 1999. And so it doesn't look that old at all. But it's a nice rocking chair. And then over here, I have a lamp, which is nothing new. This was in my early 2017 room tour. It's a nice, modern-looking standing lamp, relatively cheap, that I got from Target. The top is actually broken, so where the lampshade is, so I had to patch it up with electrical tape, and it works just fine. And then Target was supposed to send me the lamp with a black wooden base, and they sent me one with a brown one, which is, I wasn't too pleased by that. I didn't feel like packaging up this lamp to return it, so I just kept the lamp with the brown wooden base. Over here, I have a little heater over here. I actually really don't use it because, to be honest with you, if I get cold, I honestly just prefer putting on a jacket. And so the posters hanging up on my wall are the exact same as they were in the early 2017 room tour. Minecraft poster, Doom poster, Beach poster, BioShock Infinite poster. Last but not least, my chair is also the exact same. It's a nice chair with a nice tall back so I can lean back fully in the chair and my head will lean back in the chair and I won't feel uncomfortable. So yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps up my late 2017 room tour. Yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. I really do appreciate it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Make sure to check out my Twitter, Instagram, and Discord link below in the description. And as always, I thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.